Welcome to Saints on Cinema. I'm Tim Wilde,
And I'm Josh Edlow.
and you're not in the Rocky Room.
It's no longer a Rocky Room. I'll be moving here this week. So I had to take all the Rocky figures down because I actually put in the listing Rocky figures not included in the pictures. Just make it clear that nobody is getting them. They're mine. The Rocky Room will move with me to the new and improved Rocky Room in my new home. So,
But the spirit of Balboa will still linger. Did you leave that in the ad?
yeah, that's true, yes.
Well, and I'm still in my place. But we're having some technical difficulties here between lighting issues and sound issues in the empty room and just trying to figure things out tonight. But that's okay. So what we're doing tonight is we're discussing the Karate Kid because today they released the first trailer, the teaser. Well, it's kind of a teaser for the new Karate Kid sequel
Web series on YouTube Red.
On YouTube Red, and if they had paid us money, we could tell you more about why that's awesome. But so far, YouTube gives us permission to bring this to you. That's all we got. Anyway.
Fighting positions. I just don't know why you'd ever want to bring back Cobra Kai. We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. You may know the moves, but none of that matters unless you have balance. Are you ready to learn the way of the fist? Yes, sir! Johnny, you and I, we aren't done.
So we just watched it. So initially I have some concerns, and Josh and I are both big, I almost said Rocky fans, almost the same thing, but no.
Yeah.
Huge Karate Kid fans. And Josh probably knows has a lot more of it memorized than I do, but the essence of the Karate Kid brings out a few concerns that I have in watching this trailer.
Yeah.
Mostly, there's two things I have. The first one is that it sounds like in the trailer, Johnny's kind of gone back to the dark side. Is that kind of the impression you got?
That, so I'm not really sure. It seems like it. There are times where I think maybe they're going to work together on something, and then there's times where I think they're not. They're not doing that. I think they're against each other. I'm not quite sure if they're enemies in this. Frenemies? What are you?
Right.
I'm not sure.
It sounds like they've been in touch with each. It sounds like they've been in touch with each. It does still sound like they've been in touch with each other. I'm not editing that. They've been in touch with each other beyond in the ring. It sounds like they've at least been. They're both in the same town, and Johnny's reopening the dojo, and Daniel's like, "Why are you doing this?"
It seemed like I get the impression that the premise of this is Johnny is reopening the Cobra Kai dojo, and Daniel has a problem with it because of the principles that the Cobra Kai uses. That's what I think we're supposed to get out of it.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. I just don't know why you'd ever want to bring back Cobra Kai.
But because it's a Cobra Kai movie and not a Karate Kid, a Cobra Kai series and not a Karate Kid series, I'm guessing that Daniel LaRusso is going to be kind of a supporting character rather than a main character. But I don't know.
I don't know if that's going to really sell. I think that's just the angle they're going with, which is weird. You're right. I mean, you're right. And that's the franchise, is the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it seems like Daniel's sitting there doing the kata on the cliff edge and training someone, and that wasn't Johnny.
And it looked like a female.
I didn't see that closely.
Yeah.
I hope they nothing wrong with women, but we already had that failure.
Yeah.
In the Kid series.
As long as it's not Hilary Swank, I'm okay with that. It's just, man, that movie was just, it was just an abomination to the series.
I couldn't finish it. I watched most of it years later.
So I bought the Karate Kid pack on DVD, and it had all 4 of them. And I wanted to, as soon as I brought it, I wanted to break that disc. So it was not a part of my collection. But my wife was like, no, it's still part of the series. So it's there as a reminder to me that even the best series can just get really screwed up by a greedy production studio.
So I bought them all 3 because with the collectors, I like having the different boxes as much as I can.
So let's discuss our concerns. I have a grave concern right off the bat, okay? And that is that this is going to be showing on YouTube Red. Now, I don't know much about YouTube Red at all. It's a relatively new product from what I understand. But what concerns me about that is kind of the same concerns I have when a TV show ends up on the CW. And that is that I bet they shopped this to NBC, ABC, CBS, and nobody wanted it. And so the CW took it. Right? And that's how I feel that this is. I bet they shopped this to Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, and nobody wanted anything to do with it. And YouTube Red was like, yeah, I'll take it. Because they're brand new and they're looking for something to hook people. I mean, if I were coming out with a series that has such nostalgia as The Karate Kid, I would think that you'd be shopping that to Netflix first.
Yeah.
And Netflix, I feel like they're coming out with a ton of new series. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to watch them all, but everything I've seen on there has been pretty good. So the fact that Netflix didn't pick it up tells me that there might be something wrong with it right out the gate.
With as many Adam Sandler movies as they want there,
right, yeah.
You think there's something wrong with that standard.
If they're hooking up with Happy Madison, like there's got to be something wrong with this series. Yeah.
Netflix Adam Sandler original movies. And I heard there was some contract about that, but yeah, in their screening process, they take all that stuff and proudly air it, but they were rejected to Karate Kid.
Yeah, so
that could be something with the writing.
Yeah, so that is my first concern. Maybe YouTube Red is going to be a great product, and maybe this is going to be like their flagship, but I'm skeptical right out the gate. Maybe this will be a great homage to the original. I mean, I'll tell you right now, they hooked me. I'm going to get YouTube Red for at least a month to watch the episodes. If they do it like Netflix, I'm going to watch them all. I'm hopeful, but I'm not, I'm a little skeptical. So
yeah, I'm not. I'm going to buy it on DVD and it'll go Karate Kid 2, and then Karate Kid 3, and then 4 will be the Cobra Kai stuff, because there was no Karate Kid made after Karate Kid 3.
That's right. There was no next Karate Kid.
Except for the remake of the original, which they called Sidekicks.
Oh, Sidekicks, yes.
And then they made the Karate Kid again. Yes. I love them.
You are so wrong.
No.
Yeah.
It's great. Anyway, moving off that subject. So here's the thing. I think you did a little more research on this, but didn't what's his name? What's the guy's name? Zabka?
Billy Zabka?
Billy?
Yeah, William Zabka, but Billy.
William. So he did some of the writing, or is that right? Let me reference or research that real quick. That was not an abomination. That was a great show.
No, that was terrible. If they would have called it Kung Fu Kid like they were initially trying to do, I would be totally fine with it. But
the problem with that, if they'd done that, is it would have been, it would have made it seem less obvious like they were trying to pay homage, like they were ripping it off. If they called it the Kung Fu Kid, it'd be like they're ripping it off.
It would also be more geographically accurate, since China birthed Kung Fu and Japan birthed karate. So how many episodes are going to be in it?
10. It shows 10 here. Unless for some reason... Oh, wait a minute. There's Ralph Macchio. Mary Mauser plays Samantha LaRusso. So that's the girl.
Samantha LaRusso. Is that his daughter?
I don't know.
Why they got to do that?
I don't know.
Why does it got to be a girl?
Or Mary Mauser, who was she? She was on. Oh, she was in The Son of the Mask. So it's got to be great.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is not going well.
She was a voice actress in Final Fantasy VII's animated movie.
Ooh.
And she was on an episode of it. And this is her top known for options or items here. And she was in Disney's Alexander. No idea what that is. So anyway, that's your main character who's in 10 out of the 10 episodes. And then you have Ralph Macchio in 10 episodes. Jacob Bartrand plays a character named Eli. And he's a young kid, so this is probably the other son.
No, I know what this is going to be. I can already tell you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Here's my concern. Is this going to be Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence turning into the new Mr. Miyagi and John Kreese, and his daughter and Billy Zabka's son are going to be fighting in the All Valley under 18 karate tournament? And it's just going to be Karate Kid Part 1 again in 10 episodes in the series. If that's where they're going with it, I don't like it.
Right.
Now, I love the fact, I personally think it's going to be really cool that they're going to be playing this from the Cobra Kai perspective. Because everyone's the hero of their own story, right?
Right.
And if you don't have Daniel LaRusso and you don't have Mr. Miyagi, these guys are good kids, who are trying to learn karate from a war veteran, Yeah. He's a war veteran who saved what's the guy's name from Karate Kid 3? I can't remember Terry Silver.
Yeah,
he saved Terry Silver multiple times in Vietnam. So, he's a war hero.
Right.
So, I like the Cobra Kai perspective, and I'm sure that we're going to learn a lot more about... I've always been interested since Part 1, in what was going to happen to Johnny Lawrence after he and John Kreese separated. And
he should have been fine. For one thing, he was not a villain in the third movie. And you would think that if he was still kind of a punk kid, that he would have still hung around the dojo if that was going to continue after the first two movies or story, which was like within 6 months or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, because it was the following year, then it was the next tournament. So if Johnny was still kind of a punk, you would have thought he would have still been in touch with John or John Kreese, mm-hmm. and John Kreese would have utilized him or fueled his animosity to get revenge. Instead, they bring in the bad boy of karate. So there's that. But the other thing is, at the end of the first one, he comes in with the trophy after Daniel kicks his butt. Well, not kicks his butt, but barely wins. And he comes in and gives him the trophy. Says, "You're okay, LaRusso," meaning, we're cool. Like I respect you here.
Yeah.
Right. And then at the beginning of the second movie, it shows the parking lot scene where John Kreese is like just messing with them all, and he starts choking Johnny, and he's like, I did my best, and he's like standing up to John because he's actually bold enough to do that now. He's actually learned something. He's like, I can see the difference between what's happened with my career in karate with the Cobra Kai versus what Daniel's done with this short guy that kicked all of our butts. Mm-hmm. There was maturity there from the first movie and all the way into the beginning of the second movie, but still that same night. It bothers me to think about that character, which had a nice little story arc or character arc, now completely regressing where he's like, I'm going to be the next John Kreese. People are going to yell at me about that, just like the Star Wars arguments about, that's a more realistic story about a character. That's garbage. I don't like that.
I think we really this is different in that we don't know anything about what's happened to Johnny Lawrence since that night. Really, that after that tournament, he disappears from the whole story. I really have always, since that first movie, or rather since the beginning of that second movie, been interested in finding out what happened to Johnny Lawrence. Like, we don't even know anything about what happened in that 6 months between the tournament and when they go to Okinawa. So did all of a sudden, were they pals? Did they just hang out, like leave each other alone? So, there's a mutual respect there, right? Between the two of them. What happened to them between that time? I mean, there's no animosity at all. We don't know anything about it. And it seems like, at least, Johnny and Daniel have enough respect for each other that they can sit in the same room without somebody trying to fight the other one. At least that's what appears from this 30-second trailer. So,
right. Yeah, it didn't seem like there was any animosity, just a difference of opinion on opening up the dojo. That's what it seemed like.
Right. And so I'm curious to find out what's happened. It'll be interesting. Now, I hope it's not going to be like Fuller House. Now, I know a lot of people like Fuller House and have watched it. I couldn't get past the first episode.
Yeah, I watched a couple and I burned out quick.
Yeah, I mean, the first episode was fun because it had all the nostalgia and, you know, the whole family was together and you get to find out where everybody went.
But it was too much. It was like, I like when they do things and echo other sequences from the originals to show that little tribute and help connect it. But I don't need to be shown a split scene of them dancing with Michelle while they're dancing with the new girl, or the whatever the baby was, like just to show, hey, by the way, remember? Yeah, do you remember this? Right. Do you remember? Right. And I had the same problem with Girl Meets World. Like, if they had just done the things that Corey and Topanga and Sean did, I would connect it because I was a Boy Meets World fan. I don't need to be shown the actual clips of things of them reenacting their things that they did.
Well, those are also things that would be appropriate for a show like Talking Dead, or a show like Beyond Stranger Things on Netflix, you know, where they talk about how they connect and why they did certain things. And that stuff is cool for
those
the
are Easter eggs. That's what those are. That's the fun part.
Yeah, and that's what's cool for super fans, right? You watch that, you go, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. That's really awesome, you know? But so anyway, this one, like I said, my biggest skepticism is the YouTube Red thing. Really hope it's not terrible. You know,
the other story I had, I just looked. It's not Zab. I can't say this. I'm gonna call him Johnny. It's not Johnny's writing, but it's the guys that did Hot Tub Time Machine. I know you haven't seen Hot Tub Time Machine, but that was very. It wasn't just. It was like a dirty comedy, like a lowbrow, like a low art comedy. It was just. It wasn't great. It wasn't super well written. It wasn't super entertaining either. It was really cool how they, you know, that's the movie where they went back to the 80s on this weekend ski trip, and Billy Zabka is in it, and he plays. It's a very raunchy character in the scene that he's in. It was really disappointing to me, but he was a punk, you know, and he's still a punk. So if he's working with those guys, and those are the guys that wrote this raunchy comedy, are you going to bring any of that to this? And it didn't seem like they've done very much else in writing. I'm worried about that.
I don't know how much stock you can put in that, because Hot Tub Time Machine was kind of designed to be a raunchy comedy, from what I understand. I haven't seen it, but everyone I've heard, it's one of those raunchy comedy styles. Whereas this, you know, there's nothing in the Karate Kid that lends itself to that style of show. If they did something like that and made this raunchy per se, I would be very disappointed, and I'm sure everybody else would too.
That's just one worry I have, is I don't know if those guys know how to write a movie like The Karate Kid into a sequence or a series that would really translate and connect all the valuable things that came out of that show, the messages and the story and the characters and the music and everything. And I don't expect it to be as great as the movie was, but you can't bring back to life those characters and just forget everything.
There's nothing in the trailer that suggests that they're going to do that.
So there's nothing in the trailer.
That's true. There's nothing in the trailer except that we know that Daniel and Johnny are going to have have at least one showdown, if you will. So I don't know.
What's the other thing? One of them said, I think it was Daniel. He said we weren't done. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, he said this isn't over or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that just makes it seem like there's still a bit of a rivalry. I don't like that. Yeah, it seems like they're kids. Maybe it's not Johnny's kid. I don't know. I didn't see his name, but if it's or his, I can't be a younger sister. Okay.
Well, and I will tell you right now, if there's any reference at all to the next Karate Kid in this, thumbs down immediately.
Well, neither of them were in it, so I don't see why they would. I don't see why they'd even mention that.
Unless it's some way to make some sort of passing reference to say, yeah, we understand that this was terrible. Like
just make a shot at it?
Yeah, take a shot at how terrible it was. I'd be okay with that. But if there's any homage to I kept in contact with Mr. Miyagi's other protege, I'm going to be like, and immediately cancel my subscription. So.
No, you're not. You're not. Okay, well, that's your concern is that it didn't get picked up until YouTube Red. I agree with that. My concern is the writers, and I think I'd researched that a little bit before, but I'm not too enthused about it based on who's writing it, because I don't know. I've never seen those guys do anything that was not a bad raunchy comedy. It wasn't even that good. It wasn't that successful. Recreating the 80s was really well done. So I don't know, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe these guys know the 80s really well, and Karate Kids was an 80s movie. Maybe they'll be able to bring that spirit of the 80s back to it. But this is like modern time Johnny and Daniel, so that would still be kind of weird. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what they do.
No.
Daniel's daughter, she has a rivalry with someone taking Johnny's class, and Daniel goes in to confront Johnny and tells him to shut down he's like, what are you doing? Why are you teaching these principles and everything? I don't know. They could just be completely recreating the story.
Yeah, well, maybe they are. I don't know. And if these guys, hearing that they did the 80s really well, that gives me some hope. I mean, these guys are probably 80s, movie fans like us. They probably like the Karate Kid, which is why they.
Well, it's all pop culture. They nailed the pop culture of the 80s. It was really good. That was the only thing that was really good about that movie.
So that gives me hope. I mean, maybe they're just wanting to pay homage to a great series. So I'm all for it as long as it's not something that is just a money grab, like just seems like Hollywood tends to do, which I felt like the Karate Kid, the new Karate Kid, was just a money grab. I'm hoping that this is something to pay homage, especially to Pat Morita and Mr. Miyagi. I hope there's I'm sure there's going to be some homage paid. It'll be interesting to see how they do that, if he had just passed away or if he'd passed away at some time before, how that's going to play on. And I'm sure that this has something to do with Daniel LaRusso wanting to pass on the correct karate legacy as he learned it from Mr. Miyagi.
I bet you shows it. I bet you he trains her under the Miyagi dojo.
Right.
I bet you
sure. This is such a mixed bag for me because I've always wanted to have some sort of a where are they now type of thing with the Karate Kid characters. So I'm really excited about it. I just wish it was somewhere where I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be great. And I love the Cobra Kai too. I've always thought that those guys were all super cool. I hope some of those guys have like an appearance somehow in this. That'd be cool. Yeah, throughout the show they kind of pop up
in the background or something. Like we didn't get anyone live because we're jerks. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the main question is: Johnny going to have a fight with Daniel? Do you think Daniel's going to turn into the sage who is trying to teach his student, and if it's his daughter even, and end up having that moment like Miyagi had in every movie where he beats up all the bad guys? Do you think it's going to be Daniel doing that? And would you want that to happen?
No, and I don't think I would want it to happen just because Mr. Miyagi was just like a superhero that nobody really heard from, and I don't know if it would feel the same way because Daniel was always the one getting the crap kicked out of him. You know what I mean?
Wax on, wax off, 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 wax on.
I mean,
you don't want to see him progressing and being that good?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe. I don't know. But we never really had a situation. Well, I guess we did in part 3, but in most of the movies, there was never a situation where Mr. Miyagi fought someone on his level, per se. Like, he never, until the 3rd movie, fought John Kreese, No. He never fought Terry Silver in the 3rd movie, but in the 1st movie, he didn't really fight anybody except the kids. And in the 2nd movie...
They were, he just had to stop them from their beating up Daniel.
Right. And then
the second one was to stop the cousin or the nephew from beating up. The nephew or cousin? Who was the
nephew? Yeah, it was Sato's nephew.
To stop him from, destroying the farm and everything. He's like, get your guys out of here. But they were attacking this feeble old man and this innocent kid. So it was always defense. And so that's why it was really cool to watch him just take them out. Daniel, I wouldn't really want to see that. That's not the same.
He's not the same as Mr. Miyagi. No,
Yeah, it's like him beating some high school kids. I don't want to see Daniel beating up some high school kids. Right. Miyagi's like a feeble old man who turns around when they attack him. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Right. So, I hope it doesn't get that way, and I hope they don't do that.
Johnny's a jerk again, and he's bringing back all the principles and the dogma of the Cobra Kai dojo. Great. Daniel, let's see you fight him again. Just to do that one more time. That's fine. Yeah. I don't want to see a crane technique. I don't want to see the drum crap. I don't want to see any of that. But
they'll probably come up, I'm sure.
I don't even want to see that drum in the background sitting on a shelf. I don't want to see any of that crap.
I would be okay with a crane kick from the student at one point. Like if Daniel's student did a crane kick, I'd be okay with that. Although only if like Billy Zabka freaks out as soon as he sees her set up for it.
You don't think that's going to be the first thing he teaches his punk students is how to block that one kick?
But the thing is if you learn what you learn in that movie is if you do it right, there is no defense for the crane kick.
Well, clearly there was in the second one.
Well, he didn't do it right then.
He knew that technique,
but he didn't do it right.
I don't believe that.
In the first,
I think he knew the technique.
Are you saying Mr. Miyagi was lying?
I just think him knowing how to do the attack is pretty easy to defend it. I mean, he blocked it. It was a pretty dumb kick. I mean, come on. If you know what his other unbalanced leg's about to do, it's a pretty easy thing to defend. So that was just a bad line. I'll say that. In the Karate Kid movie, there was that bad line by Miyagi. That was a dumb thing to say.
Maybe it's true. We don't know.
And all it did was make you believe, because of what Miyagi said, that it worked at the end of the movie. That's the only reason. Like, if he does it, then there's no defense. But that's kind of a ridiculous thing to say about that.
If you do it right, no can defend. That's what he says. I believe Mr. Miyagi. I mean, if you want to say that Mr. Miyagi's wrong, then you can go ahead and do that. But
all right, well we can dive further into the Karate Kid movies individually at some point. But this one, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait till we see more trailers to kind of see what they're going for.
So, I would say if you're a Karate Kid fan, you should join me in signing up for YouTube Red for a month just to watch the episodes, see if it's worth it, and then if not, then never sign up for YouTube Red ever again.
Because they fail it on the first try, and that's all they get.
Because if they destroy the Karate Kid any worse than Jaden Smith destroyed the Karate Kid, I mean, I think it's worth it, but if you don't, that's fine.
Oh no, I do too. But I'm saying no one's gonna be as excited as like a couple people like us.
That's true.
It's not like the next Marvel series that's coming out.
You definitely have to be a complete movie geek to want to watch Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. I agree.
There's enough people at channel surfing or see that trailer, they don't even know it's the Karate Kid. So people millennials who have seen Karate Kid like once when they were kids, their parents made them watch it and they forgot all about it because they didn't appreciate it, mostly because it's dated to them, which is why the Jaden Smith one was really good for that, to bridge our generations with them. I'll say that much. And now they're coming across this Cobra Kai thing. They're like, this looks stupid. Because here's these wrinkly, boring, middle-aged men who come in and they're talking in a really weird dojo with some bad fonts on the wall. They're talking about no mercy.
Yeah, well, I'll just say I shared it on Facebook, and I got like 2 likes. So it sounds like the general public doesn't have a lot of faith in the Cobra Kai series either.
They don't care. I'm excited about it out of curiosity. I don't know if I'm excited until I see another trailer, but we'll see. Coming soon, 2018, the Karate Kid. No, it's not the Karate Kid. It's the Johnny Kid.
Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai.
The Californian Kid.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, tell us what you think of it. If you're excited or not excited, or if you watch this thought or this initial reaction after it comes out, tell us what you didn't like about it, what you did like about it. But
out of strict nostalgia and out of duty to this,
you have a loyalty.
Out of loyalty,
protect this franchise.
Loyalty to the franchise, I will watch it.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough. Well, I'll back you on that because I'm pretty sure we'll be on the same page with our thoughts. So I don't know. We'll see. This year coming up, the Cobra Kai. You guys watch it and then tell us what you think. Well, I'm Tim Wild.
I'm Josh Edlow.
And thanks for watching Saints on Cinema. We'll see you next time.